Welcome back to the Lowcountry Report. According to a recent article in dailyfinance.com, although the names of the most famous investors belong to men like Warren Buffett or Peter Lynch, there are plenty of studies that show women generally outperform men when it comes to generating significant returns on investments. Well, despite that fact, there are many women who lack the confidence to be financial decision makers. Author Eleanor Blayney hopes to change that with her book titled Women's Worth: Finding Your Financial Confidence. Eleanor is a certified financial planner and also serves as the consumer advocate for the Certified Financial Planner Board and is a member of the National Hospice Board as well. She joins me now on the Lowcountry Report. Eleanor, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks, Allie. Good to be here.
As a financial planner, you really have looked at the way women approach finances or learning about finances and dealing in the financial world versus men. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, yes. We know that women think differently, they talk differently, particularly about money. So the idea here is to be talking about finance and the personal finance decisions in a way that women can relate to and understand.
With your book, it really gives the reader, and I would assume most of them will be women, but I'm sure some men will read it too, the basics of the world of finance, but also really running the whole range of preparing for retirement, making sure you have a will, looking at options like long-term care. Did you set out to just make it a complete guide for someone that has no knowledge or as a supplement to someone that may know something?
Well, I was trying to address a very broad audience, so I hope there's something in there for everyone. I tried to touch more or less the pillars of financial planning, which consist of knowing what your assets are and then addressing spending, retirement planning, investing. But at the same time, I tried to add a little bit more that speaks directly to women. For example, there's a chapter in the book that talks about raising our children to be financially responsible. And then another chapter, which I think is really important, talks about something we call human capital, which is really all about the challenges that many women face in the workplace. So I've taken basic financial planning topics, but enlarged them to suit a woman's life.
I found it interesting that you said at one point you were back at your alma mater, Mount Holyoke College, I believe it was, where you were with a group of really intelligent, accomplished women, and during the discussion you discovered that they really lacked the confidence of navigating in the financial world. Did that surprise you, or I guess now you see that a lot of women do feel that way?
Yes, I call it my aha moment. I had been a financial planner practitioner for about 20 years, and you know, the women that were coming in to me, oftentimes at the behest or the request of their husbands, but they were, you know, fairly well familiar with the financial planning process. But it was that day when I was addressing alums, fellow women who had graduated from Mount Holyoke, that I realized it wasn't so much the women that were seeking me out, it was all those other women who had not yet asked the questions or found a financial advisor. And I saw in that audience that day, as you say, really intelligent women. They were well employed, engaged in the community, but they did not know where to start. And I said to myself, I have to do something about this.
And you really have with this book. What I find interesting too is you say it's just absolutely necessary for every woman to be competent in this arena, and you point out some of the statistical information as to why we really need to, you know, be financially savvy or literate. Right. Can you talk about that?
Well, we need to be savvy. Yes, there are many, many statistics, and unfortunately, they are stacked against women in many cases when it comes to financial security. We often go through the transitions in our lives, the big crises, divorce or death of a partner, and these do impact us negatively when compared to men. But it's so important that women realize that even when they're in the context of a loving relationship or a very secure relationship, nevertheless, they need to be responsible or aware of themselves as their own financial, having their own financial identity. I compare it to health. You can't delegate completely the care of your health. and you cannot delegate your financial management completely. We have to take ownership. So I'm trying to write in a way that's encouraging, supportive, and getting women engaged.
And you have a glossary of terms, which I thought was very helpful for people that may feel intimidated by some of the lingo that gets thrown around on financial television stations and the like. I also like the fact that you've got some exercises there too that really will help women clarify what their priorities are.
Right. Well, we have the exercises to get them warmed up, but really the nature of the book is to hold a conversation. So I've tried to make the book as conversational as a book can be, and the idea is to get women talking to each other, talking to their partners about finances. There's also a book guide that accompanies the book, and the idea here is for a book group or just a community of women, you can talk about some of the concepts that are addressed in the book. And both the book and the book guide are available on my website, which is www.directionsforwomen.com, and you'll see it there, or you can get the book on Amazon as well.
Again, the book is Women's Worth, Finding Your Financial Confidence by Eleanor Blayney. Thanks so much for joining us, Eleanor.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
When we return, Town Manager Steve Riley of Hilton Head Island joins us. We'll be right back.